Hi, crafty friends. My name's Michelle. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're going to put together this beautiful Magnolia Box Card. It is so much easier than it looks, and it comes with an envelope, folds flat for mailing, and I think that you're really going to like this one. Okay, so let's get started. To begin, we're going to make the three flowers first, the magnolias. They're a lot simpler. It's like putting together a puzzle. And once we get the three flowers done, then the rest of it's just a piece of cake. Actually, it's all a piece of cake. And it cuts pretty easily too, because if you look, there's not that many cuts. You're not going to have to change out your mats. These were made with SVG files from Dimensional Paper Cuts. And we have, as you can see, each magnolia has 4 layers. You can combine them on your mat. So make sure it's adhered down good on a nice sticky mat, and you can put like these two together. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting this one and this one together because it is a different weight of paper. So you're going to have this one is going to need to cut a little bit deeper, let's say, than that one. But anyway, we can talk a little bit more about that as we go. So let's begin with the flowers and then we'll progress from there. Okay, to begin, I am going to use some liquid glue and a glue stick. By the way, never judge a woman for her adhesives because this is actually pretty dang good. I was super shocked because it was so cheap. And now that I've kind of like oh wow, this is a secret because I like this. And guess what? Can't find it anywhere. So if you can find it, grab it because it's pretty dang good for as cheap as it is. But we're primarily going to use this and a toothpick to get in the small places if necessary. First thing we're going to do is put our shadow layer here. This would also be very cool if you want to take a little extra time and ink it. But I don't think that's necessary, but it would be cool, especially if you inked the bottom of this area going upwards. That would be pretty nifty. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and add the leaf and stem piece. I can pick it up here. All right, and we are going to place that right on the top. Gives it some nice dimension. As I'm talking to you, we have magnolia trees that in fact are giving a nice shadow over here, and they really are cool when they come out. They smell so good. I just love them. Okay, there's that one. I'm going to leave that little leaf up a little bit, add a little more dimension. Okay, and then here we have some shadows from the interior of the petals. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue on this one. It doesn't need much. And then this one. This just accentuates that there are more petals, so it lays right along the outside. Like I said, it's just like putting together a puzzle. See, now you have the illusion of 3 petals. Okay, so our first magnolia blossom is done. Wasn't so hard, was it? All right, let's get on with the other 2. Okay, our center flower does not have any of that peachy shade, so but it does have the shadow from the leaf. It's the same piece I cut. So we are going to put this one on top. Okay, and then it just has that little bit that sticks out there. The pistil, I think it is, the center. Okay, now this flower looks a little bit different. It has a piece cut out there so that you can kind of get the illusion there of a or a petal right there, and it has these weird little cuts. Those are going to be covered up, but it's a guide so that when we put the center on, it's going to line up and follow right along there. But I'm going to cover it up, but it's right along there and to the bottom. Okay? Doesn't have to be exact, but that's how that applies. So it's really pretty simple. Now, when the petals come up from Magnolia, they kind of turn inwards. So we are going to put the underside of the petals on the ends of a few of them here. And this long one is going to go on this big round petal right here. All right. I add a little bit to keep that down. Okay, there we go. And then this one, we're going to put the top of this right there, along here. And you don't have to worry about trying to remember this, because in your full color, there's a full color PDF that comes along with your instant download. And in that, it's all laid out like I had it at the beginning, where this flower goes with this, 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 and this. So that way, you know, you don't get all these pieces off of, you don't get all these pieces and then wonder what the heck goes where. All right, so then this one is going to go up here. Actually, let's put it down there. There we are. Okay, now see, some of the petals are curving inward, and flower number 2 is finished. Let's move on to flower number 3. Okay, flower number 3 has these pieces laid out. It is the flower that's being held in the hand. I don't know why I've had this fascination with hands lately. There's also a box card that has a hand holding a phone. So I'm just running with it. Hope you like hands. Okay, so here is our base, but we're not going to actually use the base yet. In fact, I should have laid it out over here. We are going to take these 2 pieces, and we are going to put this one down first. Oops, gotta take the lid off my glue. All right, this is an interior color, but it's gonna fit just like that, just like that, just like a puzzle piece right on top. Then this one, okay, so now the white one is going to go on the top. It's a little bit backwards from the other ones, but you'll see why in a minute here. All of the files come with, like I mentioned earlier, there's an envelope, and there's actually 2 files for envelopes. One has a dash score line, one has a solid score line. The envelopes are identical, and the same goes with this. The only The only pieces that have score lines are in the card itself, which I'll show you when we get there. And that also the card itself comes with a solid score line, or you can use the file with the dash score line. Okay, so we got this piece. That wasn't too hard. Now we're going to go ahead, got it backwards, and attach it here. And you can see how it still lines right up the edge. Now, for this time, I am actually going to leave this kind of up. So I'm not going to put glue there. I am going to put some glue along the edge and down the bottom. Okay, there we go. Now it has more, a little more depth. This little tiny piece right here is going to go right along the inside there, because this last, on white, it's probably hard to see. This last petal is kind of falling down. So this one we're going to put right down there in that little corner there. Okay, so that's the underside of the petal there that's just kind of falling inward. And then we have our sepal at the bottom, the little tiny leaves that come up the bottom of the flower. And we're going to stick that right on the edge. Okay, there you go. If it's a little off, don't worry about it. Okay, most of that is going to get covered by the hand. Okay, we've already made the third flower. Let's keep going. In the corner of the card, you'll see some magnolia leaves. So let's put these on the magnolia leaves. Now, I used a green with gold print. Traditionally, underneath the magnolia leaves is brown, and a goldish brown, and not just in the autumn. I mean, like, that's what it is. It's in the spring, it's in the summer. It's this really pretty, like, brown on the underside. So I want to give the illusion that if the leaf, you know, is curled here, that you're going to see the brown as well. So that piece goes right in there, and then this piece goes on the second leaf. Okay. See, now it looks like this part is kind of curling inwards. All right, so now let's go ahead and assemble the card. Okay, I've got the pieces for the remainder of the card ready to go. And I wanted to go over this little mechanism here briefly. This is easy to do. We're going to put it together. And the reason it's even there to begin with is for two reasons. One, so it'll stand up nice, so that when they get the card, they can display it. How cool is that? Another reason is to keep it from falling, because the hand is kind of heavy with the flower. So these two on the back keep it upright. So works out really well, actually. So let's go ahead and make this mechanism. To do that, we are going to need this piece right here. We're going to fold these pieces downwards, the mountain fold, and I'm going to fold them back and forth a few times to make sure that it goes easily, because that's your hinge. Okay, there we go. This is our covering panel. We're going to put that on in just a second. I used this scene from, it's a One Canoe 2 collection. I honestly can't remember which one. It's an older collection. Heidi Swap has a relatively new one out that is with her Carefree collection, where she has clouds, and there's another one with like a rolling hill. And honestly, that's the one I planned on using, but I accidentally used it for something else and forgot about it. So we're going to use this one, but that's okay. It works pretty nice. All right, so to do this, I am actually going to glue it on the inside so that it keeps the back nice. If you are using a solid color, it has a place, you know, where you can stamp or write your sentiment or whatever. If you're using a pattern paper on the back here, just go ahead and cut 2 of these so that you can take and just stick one on the back there as well. Just cut 2 with your machine. Okay, let's go ahead and put this on, and I am going to put glue on the underside because I am going to attach it to the front. Had it backwards there for a second. Okay, so I am going to line this up. You can see a little glue oozing out there. Line it up with the edge and make sure it's lined up with the bottom. All right, you don't want this piece to get down over here or it won't stand up. Does that make sense? You don't want this shifted downward. You want it right there so it meets in the corner and along the edge. And then we're going to flip it over and do the same thing. So I'm going to put the glue here. Actually, I'm going to bring it out to the edge there. Okay. And put it right against the edge and right up against the bottom. But you don't want it exceeding the bottom. Okay, now it'll lay down. You can make it go back and forth a few times. Make sure it stays, and it does. It's perfect. All right, now we're going to go ahead and put the covering panels on the bottom. You can do these in any pattern you choose. I'm going to use the green and just lay it in the center there. Okay, and I'm going to take one of these little rectangles here and put that on the side. Okay, and then I'm going to slide this over and do the same. All right, there we go, easy peasy. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add our covering panel to the inside to give it a nice clean look. I'm going to use glue for this, but on my original one, I did not use glue. I used a dry adhesive so the paper wouldn't warp, and I like that much better. But this will be much faster. Okay, and we're going to slide that over. Okay, there we go. All right, there we are. Okay, it's coming right along. Let's go ahead and add our magnolia leaf, and I am going to put that right in the corner. All right. There we go. And we are going to add our corner leaf right up there. Now, to give it more dimension, I'm going to go ahead and pop that up with some pop dots, dimensional adhesive. You don't have to use dimensional adhesive. You could leave it flat if you want, or what you could do is use mounting tape, which you can actually get at the dollar store. It's just a roll of tape that looks like that. I think it's originally intended for hanging photos on the wall, but I would not put that tape on my wall. Okay, or what you could do, now these are actually kind of deep, but what you could do is just take a piece of paper, scrap paper, such as this, and cut it down and layer them up like a sandwich, so that that way it's a little bit thicker, and then you glue this to the bottom, and it'll just give it that little bump up. Okay. You can also use fun foam, that children's foam that you see at Michael's. It's usually like 70 cents for a giant sheet. I think I've watched some videos where Jennifer McGuire does that. All right, now you can lay this however you like. I just like them coming up so it looks like they're coming off of a similar branch there. What we're going to do with the hand is put it down here. I want it kind of up so we can see a little bit of this covering panel. So about from here on back would be an okay place to put some glue. All right. Now with this, I don't want it to go beyond here. I don't want it to go beyond here. And I don't want it to go deeper than the bottom of this little box mechanism. Okay, because otherwise it won't lay straight. Other than that, it can go just about anywhere. But don't let this come down lower or it won't stand upright. Okay, there we go. Now this piece is going to go up here, but I want it to have a little more dimension than be flat, so we're going to bump that up a little bit too. So, okay, so if it's sitting here, this is closer to you than this is closer. Okay. Put a couple of those on here. And the thumbnail. You can make the thumbnail in any color you want. I went ahead and used this color because it made fewer cuts on the mat, so it makes cutting it out pretty easy. But you could put it in a coordinating color or anything. Even clear acetate would be really cool. All right, pick the bottoms off. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line this up, but I want to make sure that this doesn't exceed here. And it lines up perfectly with that anyway. There we go. Okay, now we have this flower. And as I was talking, I didn't put another one down on the actual thumb. Don't glue the thumb down yet because you're going to want that thumb to hold the flower in the palm. And, you know, you can put it just about anywhere in there, and you can see that this is going to go down in here. Can you see that? All right, so I'm going to stick some glue down at the bottom of the flower. Right about there. And then we're just going to slide that in there. Might have used a little too much glue there. Now she's getting glue on her hands. There, that's where I want it. All right. And that leaves one more flower. I'm going to put that one right about here. I don't want it to get too far off of there because I want it to fit nicely in the envelope. This one you can also use dimensional if you want. I did on the other one, but I'm not going to on this one. I think it'll be nice just flat. All right. I don't want that going over this edge. It's okay if it goes over this. I think it's kind of cool, but not over this. And you can actually take some of the petals and kind of bend them upwards because you know they're going upwards anyway. Okay, there we are. See how cool that turned out? All right. You can send this for Mother's Day or any occasion. It's an any occasion card. Like I said, you can put something on the back. If it's a textured surface or something else, go ahead and put one of these on the back. All right, so head over to dimensionalpapercuts.com so you can see other projects that have been done in the blog. It's a website that also has a list up at the top where you can find your tutorials. You can find the other listings. You can find a direct link to the Etsy shop so that you can go ahead and get your SVG files to make this. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are not already, please hit subscribe so we can craft again real soon. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye.